From yesterday's equipment exhibits to today's International Public Works Congress and Equipment Show, equipment services personnel working with their suppliers have played an important role in promoting advances in public works technology. Our way of life would be dramatically different without modern public works equipment. Street sweepers, refuse haulers, and asphalt pavers are common sights in North American communities, yet their contributions are frequently overlooked. The equipment used by public works departments to maintain our streets, sewers, and other physical systems represent generations of technological advancements. A century ago, most public works functions were performed by large numbers of manual laborers using simple technology. It was labor-intensive, back-breaking work and made public works operations inefficient and expensive. Modern equipment has brought greater efficiency and safety to public works programs. Today's state-of-the-art public works equipment is the result of many decades of improvements. During the late 18th and early 19th centuries, laborers used handheld tools and other simple equipment to build roads, dig thousands of miles of canals, and construct myriad public works facilities. Road building was based on several construction methods and, like today, involved the use of stones and gravel. The macadam system, developed in Britain, had by the 1820s become the standard road building technique in America. Macadam roads were made of angular broken stones, 6 to 10 inches thick, with a crowned surface and a waterproof layer of gravel compacted by road traffic. Road compaction was greatly aided by the introduction of the horse-drawn roller. Developed by French highway engineers as early as 1829 and used throughout the 19th century. The explosive growth of railroad construction beginning in the 1840s added to America's burgeoning transportation network. The railroad brought innovations in bridge construction, surveying, steel production, and other areas related to engineering. In the 1870s, with post-Civil War Western expansion, there were several important developments in road building equipment. The wheeled scraper, the commercial road grader, and the earliest of these developments and most complex, the elevating grader, used for producing railroad embankments, levees, crowned roads, and irrigation ditches. The elevating grader, mounted with blade and conveyor, could move earth from a roadway into horse-drawn wagons. As North America's transportation network grew, so did her cities. Local government began to assume responsibility for many public works activities. Improved streets and increased traffic congestion in late 19th century cities meant that public works departments now needed to invest more resources in street cleaning and maintenance. Crews of street sweepers and horse-drawn vehicles with wire brooms continued a tradition of organized street sanitation that dated as far back as the 18th century. Concern over crowded, unhealthy urban conditions also spurred improvements in solid waste removal. At a time when wastes were collected by horse-drawn wagons and carts, the Director of Public Works for Fort Wayne, Indiana, requested that the bed of the vehicle or wagon to contain the garbage should be constructed of steel or iron and built watertight, the lids fitting so as to avoid the emission of odors, the ends slanting so as to permit washing out and cleaning. The efforts of 19th century public works professionals to improve sanitation were a great triumph in public health and saved countless lives. During winter, many public agencies faced the problem of snow removal. Public works directors had to confront issues of planning, costs, and snow fighting methods. In 1896, one public works commissioner wrote, "Last year we cleaned about 347 miles of sidewalks at an average cost of 2/5 of a cent per foot frontage each cleaning. We hope in the near future to obtain legislation empowering us to commence cleaning the sidewalks at an earlier period than the one now in force, namely 24 hours, in which case we shall be able to do the work much more cheaply." In the spring and summer, on paved and unpaved streets, cities used sprinkling and flushing wagons to keep down the dust and compact the gravel. The president of the St. Louis Board of Public Improvements specified that sprinkling be done with 2-horse wagons, which carry a tank holding not less than 600 gallons and shall have attached 2 sprinklers. Early models depended on wheel speed to drive the pump. These horse-drawn vehicles, unfortunately, contributed to the already difficult problem of solid waste. Heavy steam-powered equipment was used for large construction projects. The earliest of these types of equipment may have been the steam shovel, patented in 1837 by an American inventor, but not in common use until after the Civil War. Another development in steam-powered equipment at this time was the steamroller. These 1890s advertisements for British steamrollers illustrate European equipment technology. Massive machines, their clean-cut design is reminiscent of British locomotives. The steamroller was a staple of public works road building operations for many decades, but steam-powered equipment was slow and cumbersome. For day-to-day public works operations, horse-drawn equipment was more commonly used. Horse-drawn graders and wagons were used in some communities as late as the mid-20th century. Important developments in equipment technology during the First World War led to a revolution in public works equipment, as horse-drawn power was rapidly eclipsed by the internal combustion engine. By the 1920s, this new type of equipment was becoming integral to many public works departments. Early attempts were made to fuse the internal combustion engine with vehicles originally designed to be horse-drawn. This 1909 grader is powered by a tractor engine. New welding techniques developed during the next decade would overcome some of the structural weaknesses of these early units. In 1914, the city of Boise, Idaho, purchased the first mechanized sweeper. But the high cost of this equipment and availability of low-paid laborers kept mechanical sweepers out of the reach of many municipalities for another 20 years. Some public works officials recognized the long-term economic benefits of up-to-date technology. Mechanized equipment meant greater savings for the taxpayer, boasted City of Chicago officials. The manufacturer of this early sweeper claimed it could clean up to 64 miles of 7-foot wide pavement in 8 hours. Vacuum sweepers, first used in 1920, were unwieldy-looking devices. Manufacturers touted their benefits, saying that they would pick up from any surface any litter that any street sweeper will remove. All sweepings are actually picked up and carried away, not swept into the gutter to be carried away by men with shovels and brooms. Increasingly sophisticated technology meant greater municipal investment, both in initial costs and in equipment maintenance. Innovations such as improved suspensions and hydraulic controls were related to motorization. However, design improvements also added to equipment effectiveness. At first glance, this 1932 catch basin cleaner doesn't seem radically different from this 1937 model. But note the change in chassis design, the new, soft tires, and the addition of a reel for hose storage. Solid waste collection also saw improvements during this same period. Early trucks had the same disadvantage common to cart systems, limited storage capacity. The sides of the box had to be low enough for collectors to load and dump. Waste collectors of the period have testified to the difficulty of lifting 30 to 50-pound cans or tubs 6 or more feet off the ground. Some agencies used tractor-trailer units. The trailer had a larger capacity than the truck box and lower sides to make loading and unloading easier. Rear and side loader compactors like this 1930s model solved some of the early problems of solid waste collection and allowed smaller work crews to load and unload more efficiently and with greater safety. Improvements in motorized equipment were reflected in other areas of public works services such as snow removal and bridge and tunnel maintenance. Sometimes public works operations required special innovations. By the 30s, urbanization and increased motor traffic had made frequent street cleaning necessary. By the 1950s, man-made fibers for the brooms and replaceable hoppers made mechanical sweepers more efficient and economical. Sweepers no longer had to stop to unload debris at designated dump areas along the route. In the area of solid waste collection, larger containers and increasing crew costs prompted further innovations in equipment, such as front loaders using hydraulic arms, roll-off trucks for larger containers, and side loaders designed for one operator service. In the 1990s, public works equipment professionals can benefit from the important developments in equipment technology that have taken place over the past couple of decades. High-pressure hydraulics, load sensing devices, as well as other innovations have revolutionized the equipment industry. Solid waste collection vehicles have undergone changes in design to accommodate recycling. Developments in electronic control systems signal a new revolution in equipment technology. Our modern communities and the high standard of public works services they provide would not exist without public works equipment. Public works personnel, in cooperation with equipment manufacturers, will continue to improve the productivity and efficiency of equipment technology, making public works operations better and helping to maintain the communities in which we live.